Hi there, Thak from Thak Ironworks. We are outside the building. Today what we're going to do is a little walkthrough of the projects that we have on the go. I just want to give you a quick overview of what actually happens on day-to-day life at Thak Ironworks. Come on inside. So this is the old part of the shop, the original building here. This is the old forge here, which usually gets cluttered up with stuff when it's not in use. We've got a basic course coming up next weekend where we've got a bunch of people, so we'll be having people on this forge. But typically we use the forges in the new part of the shop. You can see here I've got my headboard posts, the wood carvings that I did this past winter. They're sitting here while I'm working on the iron portion of the headboard. And then this is just generally a not very much used part of the shop, although it will be getting used more in the very near future. Right here, we have a project that Ethan is working on. This is a gate about 8 feet by 8 feet, so relatively large. And Eric, if you come in here, if you can kind of get a shot of the concept. So essentially it's a heron in the bulrushes, and right now Ethan is in the other room working on part of the body. You can see this is a stylized silhouette of the heron. So we've got that pounded out at 14 gauge. We've got our bulrush leaves are made out of angle iron, and then just solid bar for the actual bulrushes themselves. That's going on. We'll take a look at what Ethan's actually doing when we get to that part of the shop, but let's continue on. So if you're a regular viewer, you may have seen a recent video that we had where we sponsored by Weaver for an anvil, a little blue anvil, and I did kind of a walkthrough of its pros and cons. They were pleased with the result, and they asked if I would do more sponsored things in exchange for some tools. So the next thing I got was this furnace, this smelting furnace for melting bronze is what I'm going to use it for. So we're still in the process of getting it set up, and I want to very soon do a video on its usage, but I would like to make a piece which will be for an upcoming video for my Gladiator helmet, a project that we've been trying to get to now for about a year and a half, and we keep getting sidetracked with other projects, paying gigs, if you will. The Gladiator helmet is out of my own pocket, and I'm finding it harder and harder to do stuff like that when I've got financial commitments. So, speaking of which, here is one. So, I have a client who brought me all these copper vessels, pots and pans, and would like me to make a sculpture utilizing them. And actually what she's looking for is a gargoyle, which was right up my alley, and I think it's something that I can have a lot of fun with. The challenge that I have with this is trying to use these shapes, try to retain some of their shape, but be able to make it into a gargoyle that has good lines, some good liveliness. I don't want the thing to look static. I also don't want the thing to look cartoonish or cute, which is going to be tricky when you're doing found objects and trying to combine it together. Very quickly you could end up with something that is kind of adorable, steampunky. I don't really want to end up with that, so I'm going to have to try to figure out a way to use this to their best advantage and still come up with a gargoyle that I find aesthetically appealing, menacing, and a Thakish piece of art. So let's see how I do. Maybe we'll do a video on this one. Let me know in your comments if this is something you'd like to see. This is kind of a weird process for me. Not sure how it would play out in the format of a video, but let me know. If you really want it, I might do it. So let's move on. All right, so here we have Ethan working away on the body of the heron. Say hello, Ethan. Hello. And we've just got our 14 gauge here, which is hot working, trying to get some shape into that. This is one of our main forges here. This other forge So these are our two main coal forges that we use. We've also got a propane forge that will pull out for specific items.
This side still needs to be straightened out.
Okay, just do one more heat and I think then I'll... Here's a little behind the scenes. We were just shooting a video for the headboard piece, which is down here. We'll show you that. But I'm just doing some flowers, rapus, bronze, doing embossing there. So we just did a little video of that. This is our setup here, our crappy little lights, tripod and everything. And we shoot a lot of our videos in this particular area, especially most of the armor or sculpture related ones. Just home in on this here. This is just something I'm working on. It's kind of cool. This is a mystery project that I can't speak of yet, but it involves claws. And speaking of that, let's just show you how these are formed. Come on over here. This is a little die forging process where I made a positive out of steel. This took me about 45 minutes to make up, so not a big investment in time, but it allows me very quickly, because I had to make 10 of these guys to be able to shape metal on that. So I got my piece of bronze here, which is roughly shaped, and then from there I get this hot. I'm not demonstrating the whole thing right now, but once it's clamped into place there, and I do that hot to begin with, I can just start hammering it down, and then more clamps are added, and then I'm able to actually just hammer it right onto the form and end up with that one. Eventually that shape there. So pretty cool. I like doing that. When I'm doing multiples of something, it often pays to be able to make up a form like that. Moving on. Speaking of mystery projects, I have a project on the go that I'm not at liberty to talk about. So we're going to keep it under wraps, and hopefully you're not able to discern what that shape might be. Anyway, you'll find out in the future. All right, you just met Ethan. He's one of my main guys. There's actually 3 of us that work here in the shop, and then the guy behind the camera, Eric, who does all the filming and administration and IT and all that behind the scenes stuff. Wave to us, Eric. Yeah, see, he does exist. And anyway, so Fish is not in just yet, but this is the project that he's working on. We've done 2 vintage motorcycle sculptures in the past, and that client has returned and is looking for a 3rd one. This time we're doing the Indian, a 1920 Indian board racer motorcycle. So if you just come up to the table here, you'll see what Fish has been working on for the last several days. Right now he's working on making the frame. So we've taken heavily textured steel and we're using that because we're trying to create a very I don't know, rat rod sort of effect on this thing. So right now he is just basically piecing together the frame, trying to get that skeleton so that we can then start making other pieces and adding it in. We did a video on the Flying Merkle, which was the bike that we did last fall. So if you want to go back in our videos, check that out. You can get a better idea of how the components come together. But this is a pretty cool process, but it takes hours, just limitless amount of hours to be able to shape. There's so many pieces that we all have to be shaped and then come together. So lots of fun. And there we have it. That's a quick walkthrough of a few of the projects that we have on the go. There's always lots happening here. A very busy place, and I find myself scattered every week, just running at a dead sprint to try to piece it all together. I hope you enjoyed that. Wondering if you have some questions, you might want to put them in the comments below. If you have not subscribed to my channel, this might be a good time to do that. Also consider sponsoring us on Patreon. You know, all the other stuff, thumbs up. I would love to hear your comments. Let me know what you think. We will see you soon. We got a bunch of videos, a bunch of projects on the go. We're just struggling to actually get those videos together and put out. So, see you soon. That's it. Thak out. See ya!